Well, there were several reasons. One of the main ones was that we wanted a house that would blend naturally into the orchard and the surrounding environment, without disturbing what was already here. Another reason was the simplicity of the technology. The Talpa House is designed to be very straightforward to manage. I can heat it with basic, low-maintenance electric heating, and it doesn't even require a heat recovery system. And it's all simple, even such details, like, for example, there are no gutters on the roof, so there's nothing to clean or repaint. That kind of simplicity really appealed to me. At first, I wasn't entirely confident about the waterproofing, but once we went through the technical details, how everything works and how it's built, it made a lot more sense. What really helped in the end was being able to visit a few of the houses in person and see them with my own eyes. So those concerns eventually disappeared, and everything felt fine after that. I have to admit, my sons weren't too excited about moving here at first, but my daughter was really enthusiastic. We spent the first few nights here with her, sleeping on mattresses on the floor. She was thrilled about it. Later, the boys joined us for a few nights, and they absolutely didn't want to move anywhere else, so it was great. I can only praise that. When summer ends, the house takes quite a while to cool down, to the point where we actually need to turn on the heating. A good example is today. It's already November, and we haven't needed to heat yet. The thermal capacity here is really impressive. And there's another thing that might be somewhat related to that, which I'd say is the astronomical orientation of the house. It's facing south. At the same time, there's an overhang above the windows that extends far enough to block the high summer sun, so the interior doesn't overheat. But in winter, when the sun is lower, it shines directly inside and warms up the entire space beautifully. We do have a fireplace here, but I don't use it for heating. It's more for the atmosphere, just to enjoy the fire. But of course, it does help a bit with the warmth. Thanks to the fireplace, the electric heating doesn't have to run at full power like it would otherwise. The first 2 years were a bit more humid, probably because it was a new build, but over time, things stabilized. Now the indoor humidity stays around 50%, give or take, so overall, it's very stable. I don't feel like I'm in a position to judge everything technically, but when it comes to heat recovery systems, I see them as high-tech solutions that require regular maintenance and their own energy source. And honestly, I don't think it's necessary here. As for a heat pump, considering how little energy is needed to heat this type of house, I think it's simply not needed. This really brings us back to what I mentioned earlier. The main thing is the temperature stability. It's something you can genuinely feel, and we especially appreciate it in winter. Most of the time, there's no need to turn on the heating unless it's truly cold or the day is completely overcast. The second thing is the silence inside. With the windows closed and the house fully surrounded by earth, even on the roof, the sound insulation is so effective that sometimes we feel like we need to open the windows just to hear something. One detail my daughter always points out when she brings someone over is the roof. Her friends love running around up there and enjoying the view. They're always amazed that you can actually walk on it like it's a part of the garden, and it really is. The roof doubles as an ornamental garden, which not only adds beauty but also enhances the whole environment. So I'd say the roof is something truly special, aside from the features we've already mentioned. I believed in this house from the very beginning. I was confident it wouldn't cause any problems. I also explored some of those ancient housing concepts, like the ones inspired by Socrates. My wife had a few concerns at first, but it turned out to be no problem at all. Not in summer, not in winter, not even slightly. We definitely have more natural light here than we did in the apartment we lived in before. We haven't experienced anything out of the ordinary here, just the usual weather patterns that everyone in this part of Slovakia deals with. But I do think that thanks to its design, this house is much better prepared for potential extreme weather than a conventional one. It's hard for me to fully evaluate, but I do know one thing for sure. Our heating consumption here is significantly lower than what we had in our previous apartment. In terms of heating alone, it comes to about 2 megawatt hours per winter. Of course, that always depends on the location of the house. But overall, I think we've managed to create a real sense of harmony here. Between the house, our family, and the surrounding land, Even though during construction and shortly afterward, the place looked completely different from the original orchard. In the end, the connection became so natural that it now feels like the house has always been a part of this property. So far, it's not fully self-sufficient. The house is heated with electricity, although I do plan to install photovoltaics gradually in the future. The experience has been very pleasant for me, and I believe for my wife as well, especially considering that we had quite a few different requirements going into it, and together we managed everything in a way that felt really smooth. The company was always very accommodating. Communication was clear and direct, with no unnecessary excuses. Simply put, I'd probably recommend them to anyone, and the whole collaboration was smooth.